Hi, and thank you so much for popping by. My name is Dr. Bridgette, and you're most welcome to this conversation today. I've been picking up a particular trend on Botswana news coverage, right? I've been noticing that there's a lot of apologies that are being covered in news coverage. It looks like there's a lot of apologizing that is going on in Botswana. And maybe perhaps we can call this year, 2025, the year of Botswana's apologies, right? So one of the apologies that really stood out for me in particular is the apology for Ambassador Bridgette Motsepe. That's on the national level, right? There was an apology to her, and then specifically this in context to the butterfly case. And then we also had another apology that really stood out for me, which was when the BDP was doing some kind of tour, visiting Serowe and those particular areas, specifically to go and apologize to the Serowe constituents about what they have done or what they did to former President Khama. So I noticed that these were two apologies that were directly in relation to the Botswana Democratic Party. I've also seen the apology where the BDP is also apologizing to former President Lieutenant General Khama. And then you also have a lot of politicians that have been apologizing for delayed projects, politicians apologizing for corruption. Listen, this has been the year for Botswana's apologies, right? I've seen quite a few apologies in that context. And these are what we would call politically inclined apologies, right? These are politically orientated apologies, and they are very high level apologies. They're on the national level, they're on the party level, right? And in the case of former President Khama, that's more of an individual level apology. But of course, behind him is a whole village, a whole tribe that they're also apologizing to. And as I'm reading all of these apologies, I'm wondering and hoping that the apologies will not apply to high-level corruption cases, that we will continue to see repercussions. We will continue to see the repercussions for the wrongdoing that high-level executives have engaged in that have cost the nation so much, right? Lest we forget that the health sector is on its knees because of high-level corruption cases, mismanagement of not only funds, but the manner in which the tendering process has been conducted, right? We're talking about corruption, right? So I hope this spirit of apology is not going to apply in context or scenario where there is no need to do that, where there should be more accountability. And that's why I was very relieved to finally see a story where the Justice Sadiq Kibonang is actually saying, remember accountability. We need to be holding people accountable. We need to be holding people accountable for the wrong that they have done. In the case of these high-level corruption cases, we need exemplars, right? Another issue is that I hope these apologies do not spill over to corruption cases, especially these high-level corruption cases, because it may dent or even erode the public's trust. As good-willing as these apologies are, as well-intended as these apologies are, they may actually have an adverse effect in negatively or eroding the public's trust. Listen, I'm not saying that apologies are not good. We absolutely appreciate the sentiment of apologies, right? We absolutely understand the need to apologize. But in the context of corruption, in the context of high-level corruption cases, that is not the scenario in which we should be sending out apologies, whether these are apologies on a personal level, apologies on an individual level, or apologies on the national and public level. We do not need to see those apologies when we are talking about people who have been corrupt. right? I think that's a fair sentiment. We are talking about a new government that was recently ushered in 2024. This is the government that looks like it is doing the apology for the former administration. That is well and good. That is well and good. Nothing wrong with those sentiments. But I just hope that these apologies are not going to apply to cases of high level corruption, which is where I believe if that happens, they will definitely serve to erode the public trust. Never forget the cost of corruption to Botswana's economy. Alrighty, my friend, that's all I wanted to say in context to Botswana's year of apologies. I hope you're having a lovely day where you are, but most importantly, I hope you're having a healthy day wherever you're watching me from. Bye.